So there's four major areas that will kind of covered in the Neothink Society. There's wealth creation, there's romantic and family love, there's health, fitness, and diet, and then there's happiness. So those are the four major areas within the Neothink Society. So that's what we work on. So I just want to talk about those four areas and kind of explain how it's worked for me, how it's helped me. So there's the self-capture discovery. That's really about you as far as wealth creation. Under wealth creation, there's a major area called the self-capture discovery. And in this, part of that is the mini-day process. This is something that you can start and learn right away and get to use. There's power thinking, and power thinking is a very valuable tool. I think it's one of the most powerful tools in all of the information we have. Under the self-capture system, there's the self-leader system. And at the very beginning, we talked about, like, it's not cultish, right? That's because it's based on the self-leader system, where the idea is to teach people to be a self-leader, to lead themselves. The Friday night essence, that goes back kind of to the same idea of the child of the past and that downstream focus where you're like paddling in a canoe downstream. If there's something that you can think about that was in your childhood that you love to do, whether you're an artist or a musician or whatever, you like building houses or creating, whatever creative thing, if you tap into your child of the past and think about what you did, what would you do on Friday night? What would, instead of going out and partying or going to the bars or whatever, what would you love to do even on a Friday night? And that, if you can lock in and find what that is, that will lead a lot of happiness, and potentially you could create a lot of wealth based on that. There's also, under the self-capture system, there's the 10-second miracles. And those are kind of like a aha moment that you receive. A lot of people are very interested in those. And then the Neothink employee. That's, even if you don't have your own business, you can apply the Neothink mentality as a Neothink employee and make a huge difference in your career, because you can go and start, using your brain and start picking the brains of other people and make yourself more valuable at where you work. And believe me, if you work for the right people and they see you doing that, they will appreciate what you're doing and you'll be rewarded for it. But if you just sit in your job and do your job without thinking about it and without reaching out, you'll probably stay where you're at and not get very far. Within the wealth creation, there's a company capture. And this has to do with integration versus specialization. Like, most jobs are specialized. Almost every job you see right now is a specialized job. A specialized job is like a fry cook at McDonald's. An integrated job is like a fry cook, but that fry cook, it's basically like his own business. He has every responsibility. He buys the potatoes, he buys the ingredients, he's responsible for it, he maybe resells it back to his own company. And he has a full area of responsibility. He has to buy his food, he has to get it right, he has to make it taste good, all the things that are necessary. It's kind of like a mini company. And that's the difference between specialized job and an integrated job. And if you had a company, just imagine if you filled your company with integrated people versus specialized people. Right now, people go to their job, they do their job, and that's it. They're kind of non-thinking. But with this approach, they're thinking and they're involved and they're growing, and it's not a mindless job. It's a job of the brain. So that's what you would do in a company capture, is identify areas that can grow. It's a fully integrated area of purpose. That's what Neothink company and employees are, is they have fully integrated areas of purpose. So one person has a full integration of that area of responsibility. from the buying, the cost, how much they sell, whatever, all the way through. The accounting, the marketing. Another area of the company capture is essence meetings. And essence meetings are just meetings that you have with the CEO or whoever, and you build and you come up with ideas on how to build everything and put it together, your fully integrated area. The CEO or the person in charge of that area would also help with that. Company capture also has tracking reports. And tracking reports are extremely important and valuable because if they're done right, they can track every responsibility within a business. And when you have every responsibility, then you can track it and see when problems arise and capture them before they do arise. There's multiple money pumps. If you have an area of responsibility, you can add another one, right? You can add another area. So like, let's say you're a restaurant, as an example, like McDonald's, they have fries, okay? So they sell fries and hamburgers. So like, let's say you have a fry person and you have a hamburger person and they have their each area of responsibility. You could have another person come on and be responsible for milkshakes, right? Or, you know, it sounds maybe silly, but that's the concept, is that they would come in and they would have their full area, so you could add a wealth pump. It could be anything, really. It doesn't have to necessarily be related to that. Maybe they sell some other merchandise within the store. Someone comes into that McDonald's and wants to sell merchandise, and they could have their own area of responsibility. It's another wealth pump that you can add on. In replication and not delegation, that's a key component of the company capture, where you replicate, you train someone, and then they bring things on little by little. So this eliminates the blue collar, white collar, right? There's no blue collar, white collar, you know, there's no college graduates coming in and jumping in a company and going to the top, because they have to work their way through. They have to show, you know, all the major companies were built by entrepreneurs like Henry Ford, right? He started that, he built it from the beginning. The people that run Ford today, they're doing okay, but they don't know what it took. They don't know what the discipline, like a Henry Ford, to go through all the trials and tribulations. They're just living off of existing values. They're living off of what he already built. And there's a lot of white collar that just kind of go in and they just do their own thing. But if you had to start a company from scratch, you could never survive that way. You can't survive with the white collar. And it just eliminates both. It's performance-based. So you're not a salary person, you're based on your performance. And there's endless areas that can grow, like we mentioned. You can add wealth pumps. So when you get past the self-capture and the company capture, you can also catapult into the world capture. You can become what we call a level 3 CEO. And that's someone that's kind of built all these different wealth pumps and is expanding, maybe globally. And the company without a company. There's really, the way we look at it, there's no real need to have a physical business in most cases, unless you're like a retailer or a restaurant. You can have a company without a company, and that's what the literature goes into. So how has this helped me, right? Well, for me, when I started out, I was a box boy in the grocery business. And then I got a job as an account executive, and then I moved into information technology. And everywhere along the line, I used the principles that I've learned in this literature. My salary went from $12,000 to $24,000 to $36,000 to $46,000 to $76,000 to over $100,000. And I can't, you know, you just have to, I guess, believe me. That's all I can tell you, is that I would never be where I'm at today. Never be where I'm at. I would never be up here doing this. I was just not confident when I started. I just wasn't going to be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this information. We also, my wife and I have built a profitable party store in Shoreline, Washington. Josh is one of my employees. I've learned to continuously improve my situation and income. So I'm always looking for ways to continuously improve and to grow. And here's kind of just some pictures from our store. just to kind of give you a little bit of a feel for what we've done. My wife would look at these and she probably wouldn't be happy that I'm showing, oh, that's messy over there, or it doesn't look right. But you shouldn't show that. And this is our home. You know, and I'm not trying to brag. You know, there's people that are better than me by far. There's way wealthier people than me. And I'm not saying that I've used this information to the fullest. And I could be I think I could have done way more than what I've done actually. But I've done